My name is Paul Aikens. I'm a realtor here in the state of Florida. I'm in the Southeast region, Palm Beaches, hence my nickname on YouTube, Palm Beaches Paul, is because we call the county, the area that I live in, we call it the Palm Beaches. It's West Palm Beach, Boynton Beach, so they call it the Palm Beaches, the county, and it's a pretty big county. I've been in real estate for about 8 years. And I was doing the same thing that most realtors do, sending out cards and handing out cards and picking up the phone and making phone calls, which I really didn't like doing anymore. I did enough of that in my previous career of sales where I always had to make phone calls anyway. And I thought, let's do something different and something fun. So I love living here. I'm originally from Texas. I've been here 28 years. I love this part of the country. I like the tropics. You kind of see my shirt, I like being out by the beach and stuff, the palm trees. And so I thought, well, maybe if I started making videos and, doing videos, people might see the videos and think, yeah, I would want to live there. So that's what I did. And, I had no training, never edited a video in my life, never filmed a video, other than a cell phone, maybe little family stuff. And I just started making videos. Of course, the early ones are horrible. They're horrible, but I didn't know anything. And I just kept working at it. I kept working at it. And, I had a YouTube account. I'm 55, so I'm a little older than a lot of YouTubers. And I had a YouTube account for going and maybe looking at a funny video. That's it. Like I had an account from 2013 and I would go watch a video or do something, but I wasn't making videos. And then 3 years ago, I started to make videos. And it just kind of started to grow. And then I started to really understand YouTube. I started joining other groups in Facebook, learning about making videos. I started to understand analytics and how to look at your analytics and see who's watching your videos and what time they're watching and all that good stuff. And it's just slowly started to blossom. My channel's growing. It's not going to grow as fast as some people out there that are doing prank videos or lifestyle videos. You have a lot of people that start a YouTube channel and they have 20,000 subscribers within a year. Mine's about real estate, so it's got to be someone that's really looking to move to Palm Beach County and someone that is interested in real estate to watch. So that really narrows it down. But it's growing, and the people who have been reaching out to me in my business is just really, especially this year, is just really exploding. I'm up to about 2,000 subscribers right now, and which isn't a lot compared to a lot of YouTubers, but in the real estate market, it's a pretty good amount because that's 2,000 people who are watching me talk about living in a county. And I just had more comments this morning from people that were like, wow, I wish I knew this channel 3 years ago before I moved here. But she was going for a bike ride on a video I did about a real pretty trail that goes along the water. And she asked me, can I rent a bike? And I said, yeah, here's the name of the place you can rent bikes. So she was like thankful that I had this local knowledge. So, so that's what I do. I make the videos about what it's like to live here in Palm Beach County. And I talk about real estate and I talk about things people who've never bought a house might not know. I will talk about that. But I also talk about, what can you do? So you bought a house and now you live here. Now what? Well, it's Saturday and maybe you have kids, maybe you have no kids, whatever. What can we go do today? So I talk about the grain markets and I talk about the beaches, like my favorite beaches. I talk about parks that you can go to, and so a lot of these parks are free. So it's kind of, I jokingly say you're a local realtor and tour guide or guide to the Palm Beaches because I'm kind of like a tour guide that I'm showing people, hey, these are things you can go do living here. And it was the best decision I ever made for my business. It's fun. It keeps me going. Like every day I'm thinking of something different and a different video to create. And the production quality, making it better and all that. So yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at, and I love doing it. Yeah, it's a great question, and it took me a while to figure that out myself, and I'm still doing it. YouTube's all about the content you create and the audience you're trying to reach to. So my audience are home buyers. They're people that are looking to get out of New York or a lot of people, California, wherever it is in the country. They're looking to move to Florida and they need knowledge. They want to know what it's like, What do the neighborhoods look like? What do the homes cost? How close is it to the beach? If they're going to move to Florida, they want to know how close is it to a beach? Can I ride a bike there? So what you have to do is the content that you're creating. Like I've had a lot of ideas of videos I wanted to make, but they were for me. It wasn't for the person, my audience viewing the video. So it would be a dumb video because they're not going to care about that. What they care about is living in Palm Beach County and how they can see themselves living here. So every day when I make a video, each week when I try to make a video, I have to think about, okay, if I was moving here, what would I want to know? What's important to me? So your content, there are people out there who've made stunning videos with just a cell phone. Unbelievable. I mean, they've made movies. A couple directors have taken the iPhones and made videos. You can make a great video with your cell phone if you can tell a good story, if the story can touch people for what they're looking for. And that's going to be different for every person based on what your channel's about. But for me, it's, I've upgraded from a cell phone to a GoPro to now I'm using a Canon. I just like the quality of it. But you have to tell a good story or have good content. Because if you make a video, if I just made a video about like, hey, this is a great restaurant, people living here, like, I could care less about a restaurant. I want to know what's around the restaurant. So that's what you have to do. So content's probably the most important thing. And then obviously, you'll hear people on YouTube tell you, you got to have a good thumbnail, and I'm still working on mine. It's graphics aren't my strength. So, and you have to have a good title. You have to have a title that grabs someone's attention, in the thumbnail, because that thumbnail is like all of this. It's like, it's like that poster board for the movies. Is that a good movie? It looks at, if it's a bad poster, you never looked at it, right? So when people are scrolling, and we're in a society now where people they can lose attention that fast if they have to see something that pops. So those are the real key things that you have to work on. If you go look at my old videos, it was a picture of me in front of a house. It's like, how boring is that? I've actually started to go back to my old videos and change my thumbnails, because it matters that much. Well, the goal, like anyone, is to keep growing the channel. Some people want to be full-time YouTubers. Who wouldn't? It's that kind of new dream to be, hey, I'm a creator. But I'm a realtor, and a realtor is how I take care of my family. But I would like to see my channel continually grow. Obviously, my goal, if it's one of your questions, my goal is to hit 5,000 by this year. I'd love to hit that 5,000 mark. So there's certain benchmarks that you try to attain. One of my good friends just hit 100,000. He has a personal channel and a real estate channel, and he hit 100,000. It's like, wow, that's like just amazing. So he'll get a silver play button. But I'd like to get 5,000 and eventually do it, and just keep providing good content for people. And then what I'm gonna probably do, my wife and I have talked about, is that I'm gonna expand beyond Palm Beach County. Not so much as a real estate, but more like, hey, if you live here in Palm Beach County, and we've done these, we call them like day tripping series, where we'll go on a Friday and we'll go an hour north or an hour south and visit someplace, a museum, a different beach, a nature park. So again, showing people, okay, now you live in Palm Beach County, say like Boynton Beach, where I live. What can I do that's an hour away from me where we can get in the car and go and get out of here and explore? So I'm going to be expanding the channel to doing that. And then I've had people suggest that I take trips to other parts of Florida and get on my bike. So I'm working on expanding the Pedaling with Paul series, which is where I'll take my bike and I will go visit someplace. And maybe I'll go to Tampa and say, hey, today we're in Tampa, and I'm on my bike and we're going to go by this place, and here's a great restaurant, and here's a great microbrewery, or whatever, and do that. So a lot of those things I'm still thinking about, but I'm still growing on my core of what my core channel is, which is Palm Beach County. So I'm still trying to focus on building that the best I can. So if like me, the first thing you got to do is you got to think, what is your channel going to be about? What do you want that channel to be about? And then from there, you got to start with the basics. You got to come up with, who you are. So you have to really know what it is and who you are and what you want to talk about. So your audience is going to really engage with that, because there's so many channels out there, and I'm like everyone else. I'm like everyone else. I go through and look to different YouTubes, and some I have no interest in, and then all of a sudden I'll find one. It's like, wow, this is amazing. So, you know, I guess, don't be afraid. A lot of people are afraid to get on camera. People already know what you look like. People already know what you sound like for the most part. And if you're comfortable with yourself, just hit that record button, start making some videos. But like I go back to the content, you got to have something good, and you also have to be consistent. So as a realtor, I'm busy, but part of my weekly schedule, and my wife and family and friends know it, I always have to make a video every week, and it can be hard. I have clients coming in from out of town. They want to look at properties. That's how I get paid. That's my main income. But the videos are that important to me that I have to do it. So you have to be consistent, and make the videos, upload the videos. You'll get better. Don't worry so much about the techniques and the quality. Those are things you'll learn. There's a million tutorials out on YouTube to teach you. But find something that you're passionate about and that you think other people would enjoy. I'm passionate about living in Palm Beach County. I think it's a great place. Yeah, it gets hot in the summer, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful out today. There's blue skies. We have warm water, palm trees. We're close to lots of fun destinations like Disney World and the Florida Keys. I mean, for me, I call it paradise for a reason, because I really think it is. You have to be genuine. People can smell fake in a split second. If you're not who you are, you won't succeed. If you're fake on YouTube, they'll chew you up and spit you out. So if people see, if they think you're authentic, they'll love you. But at least that's my experience.